The engine roared to life as I climbed into my car, ready for the long drive ahead. It was a moonless night, the darkness enveloping the world around me like a thick, suffocating blanket. I glanced at the clock, 2 a.m. The road ahead stretched out, seemingly endless, winding through dense forests and desolate countryside. As I merged onto the empty highway, a sense of unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The only source of light was the glow of my headlights piercing through the blackness ahead. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or a distant hoot of an owl. Miles passed, and the isolation grew more pronounced. It felt as if I had entered a different realm, detached from reality. My eyelids grew heavy, my grip on the steering wheel tightening with each passing minute. The rhythmic hum of the tires on the road threatened to lull me into a deep slumber. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the distance. I squinted, trying to make out what it was. As I drew closer, a chill ran down my spine. It was a woman, standing by the side of the road, her form ethereal and fragile. Her eyes, vacant and haunting, seemed to pierce through my soul. Without thinking, I pulled over and rolled down the window. "Are you all right?" I asked, my voice trembling. She stared at me with a hollow gaze, her lips parting to form words that never came. A sense of foreboding washed over me, but something inexplicable compelled me to help her. Ignoring the warning bells in my mind, I unlocked the car door and motioned for her to get in. As she settled into the passenger seat, a wave of cold air filled the car. The atmosphere grew heavy, suffocating, as if the very presence of this mysterious woman was sucking the life out of me. I turned to face her, my heart pounding. "Where are you headed?" I asked, trying to break the unnerving silence. Her voice, when it finally came, was a mere whisper. "Home," she said, her words carrying an otherworldly weight. My grip on the steering wheel tightened as I pressed on the accelerator, eager to reach her destination and rid myself of this unsettling encounter. But the road seemed to stretch on forever, the landscape becoming more twisted and unfamiliar with each passing mile. I glanced at the woman who now sat motionless beside me. Her once vacant eyes burned with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. I felt as though I were being watched, studied by an unseen presence lurking just beyond my vision. As if in response to my thoughts, the car's headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the road ahead. Panic surged through me as the engine sputtered and coughed, threatening to give out. I desperately scanned the surroundings for any sign of civilization, but all I saw were gnarled trees and a suffocating darkness. Just when I feared we were stranded, a dilapidated house emerged from the gloom. Its windows were shattered, and the roof sagged under the weight of time. It stood as a macabre sentinel beckoning me forward. Reluctantly, I parked the car in front of the house. The woman stepped out, her figure blending seamlessly with the darkness. I called after her, my voice filled with trepidation, but she paid no heed. With each step, she seemed to fade into the night, her form becoming ethereal and insubstantial. A sense of impending doom washed over me as I stepped out of the car. The door slammed shut behind me, the sound reverberating through the silent night. I approached the house cautiously, the creaking floorboards echoing with each step. The interior was a tapestry of decay and despair. Cobwebs clung to the walls, and dust danced in the air. I followed the faint sound of whispers, my heart pounding in my chest. In the dim light, I found a room filled with portraits. Each painting depicted a faceless figure, their eyes replaced with swirling vortexes of darkness. A chill ran down my spine as I realized that one of the paintings bore an uncanny resemblance to the woman I had picked up. My breath caught in my throat as I turned around, only to find her standing behind me. Her vacant eyes now blazed with an otherworldly light. Without warning, she lunged toward me, her icy fingers wrapping around my throat. I struggled, my vision growing hazy as the world around me dissolved into a sinister darkness. The last thing I heard was her whisper, a haunting echo in my mind, "Welcome home." And with that, my consciousness slipped away, swallowed by the abyss. The engine hummed softly as I embarked on a nocturnal journey through desolate roads. The moon hung high in the sky, casting an eerie glow on the path ahead. Shadows danced, and a chilling wind whispered through the trees, filling the night with a sense of unease. As I ventured deeper into the darkness, the road twisted and turned, leading me into uncharted territory. The air grew thick with anticipation, and a foreboding silence settled around me like a heavy shroud. I glanced nervously at the rearview mirror, feeling as though unseen eyes were fixed upon me. A flicker of movement caught my attention. I peered into the darkness, my heart pounding in my chest. There, at the edge of my vision, I glimpsed a figure standing by the roadside. Fear coiled in my stomach, but curiosity got the better of me, compelling me to stop and investigate. I rolled down the window, my breath misting in the cold night air. "Can I help you?" I called out, my voice quivering. The figure turned toward me, revealing a face twisted with anguish. "Please, I need a ride," they pleaded, their voice tinged with desperation. An uneasy feeling settled upon me, but compassion won over my doubts. I unlocked the doors, inviting them to join me in the car. They slid into the passenger seat, their presence permeating the vehicle with an inexplicable heaviness. As we continued on our journey, the atmosphere inside the car grew increasingly oppressive. The figure beside me emitted an otherworldly aura, their silence filling the space with a haunting tension. I tried to make conversation, but my words fell upon deaf ears. The road ahead seemed to stretch indefinitely, devoid of any signs of life. An unnatural fog crept in, swallowing the surroundings and distorting my perception. Panic knotted in my chest as I realized that I had lost all sense of direction. An unsettling chill permeated the air as the car's headlights flickered, casting erratic shadows on the road. The figure next to me shifted, their presence becoming more ethereal, more sinister. Dread clawed at my insides, urging me to escape this nightmare. Desperation filled my voice as I pleaded. "Where are we going? How do I find my way back?" Their voice, when it finally came, echoed with an otherworldly resonance. "You can never go back," they whispered, their words etching themselves into my very soul. The car's engine coughed and spluttered, struggling to maintain its course. The figure's face contorted into an expression of grotesque malice, their eyes glinting with a malevolent light. The vehicle screeched to a halt, leaving me stranded in an eerie void, trapped in their macabre game. Fear gripped me as the figure dissolved into darkness, leaving only their chilling laughter echoing in my ears. Panic overwhelmed reason, propelling me out of the car and into the night. I stumbled through a labyrinth of gnarled trees, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Whispers surrounded me, growing louder and more malicious with every step. Shadows danced and shifted, morphing into grotesque forms. A sense of impending doom closed in, squeezing the air from my lungs. In the distance, I spotted a dilapidated cabin, its decaying walls exuding an ominous presence. Desperation fueled my steps as I sought refuge within its rotting embrace. The door creaked open, revealing a haunting interior adorned with faded photographs. Each picture depicted a grim scene of suffering and despair, faces twisted in agony. I recoiled in horror, realizing that one of the figures bore a striking resemblance to the passenger I had picked up. My heart pounded in my chest as a malevolent force closed in around me. The walls seemed to breathe, the air thick with malevolence. Whispers swirled in the darkness, their sinister voices taunting and tormenting. A presence materialized before me, a grotesque visage filled with hatred. It lunged, claws reaching out to tear at my flesh. I fought with all my strength, but my resistance was futile against the supernatural power that gripped me. As darkness claimed me, I heard its victorious laughter, echoing in the depths of my soul. In this realm of nightmares, I would forever remain, a lost soul doomed to wander the twisted roads, forever trapped in the realm of the supernatural.